Dear friends, these are very challenging days. Fortunately, we live in times in which the technology allows me to record myself and to speak to you. And I'm not sure if the importance of today's event is within the limits of my vocabulary. I'm at a loss for words. I know how meaningful it is to all of you, students, faculty. Imagine how meaningful it is to me, to the recipient of the Honorary Doctorate of the university. It is so moving, it is so inspiring, and at the same time, humbling. Several months ago, my work was exhibited at the Fine Arts Gallery. It was seen by over 4,000, maybe 5,000 visitors. My art has arrived to Omaha thanks to the tireless efforts of Dr. Mark Chalinsak, held by Dr. Curtis Hutt, and the determined support by Chancellor Jeffrey Gold, Vice Chancellor Sasha Kopp, and Dean David Booker, with helpers and donors whom I cannot mention here by name, all of them, but to all of them, my infinite, infinite thanks. What happened at the show was almost magical. A true symbiosis between my paintings and the souls of their beholders. Many of them were very young. Many arrived in special buses, which the university offered. The title of the show, Witness, the Art of a Holocaust Survivor. What the public discovered at first sight might have seemed strange, a faraway world in which alternative realities related more to icons of art history than to recent events. They showed a world filled with objects that had lost their familiar use. All this painted in a technique that belonged to other times. Although my art spoke of a past that relates to sheer horror, the paintings were luminous, the colors bright. Some scenes weren't even devoid of some irony or humor. To make all that possible, obviously, I chose to speak of my life and my world by means of symbols, icons, metaphors. And knowledgeable and dedicated docents help the visitor to comprehend the meanings of my images and learn the load of their story. The story of a world in which racism, intolerance, social injustice brought on a huge devastation and irreparable loss. The paintings hinted obviously at a world victimized by cataclysmic events, a world which since it recovered about 75 years ago had been licking and licking old wounds. In fact, a world of great need of repair and restoration. I hope that the public understood that I was trying to speak beyond my personal experience of the Holocaust. And I dealt with the substance of our human condition. In a nutshell, this is what I undertook to render in my art. My biography. 1933, I was born in Vilnius, the capital of Lithuania. 1933, Hitler seized power in Germany. As said before, a survivor of the Holocaust, I carry in me indelible memories. Imagine, 95% of Lithuanian Jews were massacred in the 3 years of the Nazi rule. 250,000 Jews were the Lithuanian Jews before World War II. I am one of the surviving 5%. I was so very, very lucky to have been spared that cruel fate. Obviously, my life's work was determined by my miraculous survival. For me, the Holocaust is the foremost laboratory of human behavior. And it transcends the events of World War II. It tells us that man's capabilities are limitless, that the best and the worst exist in each one of us. Victims or perpetrators equally begin life as cute babies. But humanity, if not sufficiently alert, is apt to be victimized to one degree or another. Victimized by dangerous individuals that life's distorted circumstances had created and then had them viciously promoted. And these circumstances, of course, as we all know, depend on economy, on education, on family, on values, on personal character, and on choices. Choices that render people responsible. That is why I believe that the study of World War II in all its complexity, in its global geography, in its cultural diversities, is most important. And all that in spite of its limitless and foreboding cruelty. I have often been asked, how have you survived? I was lucky, very lucky, I say. But it is complicated. If you want to know more, if you want to know what I think, read my book entitled Painted in Words. Luck, for one thing. I firmly believe that luck has a potential to which one can contribute. My parents did exactly that. They helped my luck. They tried to be informed, prepared, they were resourceful. Alas, a few days before our liberation, I lost my father, but my mother survived, and she saved me. But most importantly, my mother couldn't have saved me without the help of Christians who were ready to save us at the risk of their own lives. These incredible heroes are an indispensable component of my personal luck. Today we live in a world seized by the global upheaval of the coronavirus. It is packed with apprehensions, worries, dire hardships. It seems that the question of our species' survival is at stake. When speaking of this situation, it is difficult to avoid common cliches. We are at a war against an invisible enemy. We are submerged by a tsunami of warnings and advice. We know that we must win, that our lives shall continue in a world that is going to be very different. But different, I hope, in a positive sense. The opportunities are there. We are now witnessing incredible acts of heroic generosity, especially in the medical profession. People save people at the risk of their own lives. Courage, resilience, solidarity. Solidarity among individuals as well as among nations. More justice, more democracy, more equality, more humanism. We are not in a time of a second Holocaust. We know what goes on the surface of the earth. People aren't isolated. The options of overcoming this crisis carry much, much promise. History, in all its multifaceted aspects, is the collective memory of humanity. Its lessons are priceless. past errors, dangers, tragedies. Examine that present, reevaluate it, could promise a better future. We have a lot to learn. A lot is now in the hands of the oncoming generations. One day, they shall determine where our society chooses to go. Humanity has never needed young, capable, enthusiastic, and well-educated people as much. To all of them, to all of you, I send my very best wishes. Thank you.